Ever since started getting sunny here and we started getting warm weather, it's just become so obvious for me that human beings really belong in the tropics. It's just become really obvious, it just, how can I describe it? I mean, my mental well-being, my level of happiness, my control over my will, over my food cravings, over you know my mind, my mental health, my physical health, it's just shot up like a bat out of hell. It's a huge difference. And you know what, it's been now sunny and beautiful for 4 or 5 days. No, you can't get used to this stuff. If you can't, you just, if you're a lover of life and you appreciate the sun and you appreciate the elements, you can't just get used to the beauty of it. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why everybody, when you go to the tropics, any place, the Caribbean islands or Thailand or East Asia or anywhere really, Ecuador and Central America, everybody, when you go there, you just feel like you're at home, because this space suit that you're wearing works best and most optimally. And how did I forget to mention Africa? That's where we came from. My apologies. Okay, we all came from Africa, and so of course Africa is the mother of the tropics and the mother of us all. So really, I mean, that's your clue right there, is that this space suit that we're wearing, called human body, human being, operates most optimally in an environment that resembles tropical conditions. Warm weather all year round, lots and lots of sun, with periods of rain, obviously, so that you can have fruits and vegetables and vegetation, and life. There's a reason why life flourishes in the tropics. There really is. It's plain obvious, and it's very obvious actually. Life is geared towards warmth and light, sunlight. So it's just become like so obvious, just seeing the difference in, not just in my mental health and physical health, but all the people around me, my brother, the random people that I meet in the supermarket, the cashiers that I talk to every now and then, those, what do you want to call them? Acquaintances. Every time you see them, you have a conversation, just seeing how everybody's mood just lit up. It's really incredible. And of course, I have been realizing that now for a couple of years. I have been in Canada for 15 years now. So that I've had 15 winters here. And I've kind of been really realizing that over the last 2 years that, I don't want to be wearing clothes. I want to be around the sun. I want to be immersed in the elements and all that. So then, slowly but surely, you sort of go on a path, you make a plan, and life happens and this and that. And eventually I'm, moving to Thailand. I've spoken about this enough times by now. You guys must be sick and tired of it. But wait until I get there and I make videos there. But I'm moving there September 4th. So, but I've really been realizing that. I've been realizing that, it's just like, the best way I can describe it to you is this. If you ever wore a tailor-made suit, felt pretty damn good. A tailor-made suit, okay? Like, it's specifically for you. If you ever had somebody design a suit specifically for you, it just feels incredible. You feel like $1,000,000. And then if you've tried like suits that are 3-4 sizes above or 3-4 sizes below, it absolutely felt terrible. You hated your life in that suit, right? Well, it's the same thing. This is the suit. This is a space suit. And in an environment, in a tropical-like environment, it just feels perfect, like a tailor-made suit, because it is tailor-made for that environment. you see? And then you bring it all the way here. I mean, for me, the best, one of the most obvious examples of human beings absolutely, how can I say this? Strong will to live against the Tao, against the harmony of the universe. It baffles me. Why? I mean, human beings, the entire human civilization now is living against the harmony of the Tao. But the thing is, there's no need to get angry because the game is fair. If you commit an act that goes against the harmony of the way, against the harmony of the Tao, you immediately suffer in one way or another. So if you treat your body like some kind of an amusement park for tasting stuff that is harmful for the body, but it momentarily feels good, you're gonna suffer. The game is fair. The karma just, it rewards and punishes without it ever being personal. It really is karma. Karma is the epitome of the Godfather. It's not personal, it's business. That's karma. It's not personal, it's business. It's just, hey, you live in harmony with the way, with the Tao, well, here are the rewards. You live against the harmony of the way, against the harmony of the Tao, well, that's what you get, right? So this is one example of human beings living against the harmony of the Tao, is like coming here to these, I mean, this is for polar bears. It's for polar bears and wolves. And God knows we've driven these animals out, especially wolves. We committed some hideous crimes here against wolves, and just recently in the Rocky Mountains, they're reintroducing them again because they've killed so many of them, the early settlers. They've killed so many of them. I mean, this is their environment, not ours. Not ours. Now, you can make an argument here. Well, there's, indigenous people living here, and human beings are adaptable anywhere. And look at Wim Hof, the Iceman, right? And I mean, Said, weren't you preaching cold showers for like the last 4 years on YouTube? Yes, I was even known as the cold shower guy. I still take them. I took one today. I take one every day. They're really beneficial, really incredible. But it's one of those things that's good in small doses, It's not, okay? It's good in small doses. And the way we usually got that stimulation is through just jumping in a lake. Okay, we just jump in a lake, and you get that feeling. So what I was saying, so you can make the argument, well, human beings are adaptable. Yeah, we're adaptable. That's why we're at the top of the food chain. We're adaptable, but just because you adapt to something, it doesn't mean it's optimal. It just means you adapted. Okay, when I was driving Uber, I adapted to the noises and all, and the stress of sitting, and the stress of traffic, and oh my God, I adapted to it, and I got on with it, and I made some friends in the car. I was entertained by people. I entertained people. I've had some incredible conversations, but even though I was adapted, it was still bothering me. I was like, I wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy doing it, you see? And I was still stressed, but the stress was just sort of going in the background, okay? So just because you adapt doesn't mean it's optimal. It just means you adapt it. It's an adaptation mechanism, so you can get on with it and survive. But doesn't mean you thrive. It just means you survive. Think about it like that. We could adapt. So part of the adaptation mechanism is we come to places that are not for human beings. Clearly, they're for polar bears and wolves and squirrels. And you could tell because they don't need to wear anything. They don't need to wear anything. They can be naked here, and they could be warmed up. Okay, and bears too. I mean, they're fine. But for us, we need to be really, really highly skilled at meditation to be able to be in the cold and be naked in the cold and withstand it, like somebody like Wim Hof and Tibetan monks, etc. But your body, unless you actually deliberately put your conscious effort into it, your body will start to freeze, and you'll end up having hypothermia and you'll die. So if you're not conscious, you're putting conscious effort. Still, why would you want to put conscious effort into it when you could just be somewhere where you can just relax and not have to do anything? Why put yourself through all this struggle? Again, human beings love to live against the Tao, right? So we move all the way here, then we build houses and heating systems, we drive bears and wolves, and I mean, this is their territory. Indigenous people knew very well and respected them. They called them our brothers and sisters, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's incredible that you see human beings everywhere in places they don't belong. That's just like, it's hilarious for me. It really boggles me. Like, why? I don't get it. I don't get it. You see? And when I finally decided, I'm going to move to somewhere warmer and just somewhere sunnier, it almost came up to me as like, why am I here? It was like a realization. I was like, why am I here? What am I doing here? Why do I have to stay here? So it was like, oh shit, I could just go. I could just go to somewhere sunnier. I could just go somewhere I could just be, largely naked and, living in the elements comfortably and where I feel I belong, where my spacesuit belongs. So that was very interesting. Now, one of the things that happens as a result of living against the harmony of the Tao. One example here, we barely get any sunshine. And that's a big reason, I believe, of why 1 in 9 Canadians are on antidepressants, which means the number of depressed people in this country is much higher than that. I think that's one reason, one big reason. And the other thing here, we just like the food quality here is subpar, really. Like even fruits and vegetables. But I mean, if you've ever ate good fruit, if you've ever actually ate like fresh, good fruits and vegetables somewhere where they can actually grow, and then you come here and you eat the fruits and vegetables here, they're all imported from God knows where, right? And so the food quality as a result, so not as nutritious. You're barely getting any sun the whole year. You're barely getting any fresh air. I mean, here is like a prison in the winter months. You go from box to box, from your house to your car to your university or school, and it really is like a battle just to even move in between them. So you're barely getting any fresh air. Essentially, your connections cut off the elements. Essentially, right? And so the indigenous people, they have had many generations and generations to adapt, and still, they still live in nature, right? And so they've managed to adapt to it in a harmonious way. So they still maintain the harmony of the Tao, but it's still a very difficult life. It's you still suffer in many ways, because again, you're living somewhere where you just don't really belong. Your body doesn't really belong, and the indigenous people, they have done an absolutely wonderful job in keeping it as harmonious as possible. But ever since we came here, settled into these places, see, again, mesquite, you see this? I got bit by, see that blood thing over there? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there, right there. Boom. See that? Mosquitoes fascinate me because they sort of commit suicide. They bite you, and there they are. I didn't touch it. Just died. Again, ignorance. The mosquitoes are ignorant. If they weren't ignorant, they wouldn't just like commit suicide like that. Again, ignorance of our predicament. That's the root of all evil. Really, ignorance. That's the original sin. Sin means miss the mark, and so we're ignorant. Also, we're ignorant of how our bodies work, how our minds work, our connection with the elements, with nature, and with how to be harmonious. And so we end up, living in places where we don't belong, and then that just like punishes you in so many ways. Of course, I am an extreme example. I live in a very extremely cold country. Okay, there are certain places it's just more tolerable. Like lots of places in Europe, it's more tolerable. But here, it's very extreme. We've recorded the temperatures here in Ottawa, the capital city of Canada. We recorded the coldest temperatures for a capital city in the world. It's been a brutal winter this winter. Oh my God. Just a few days ago, it was -1. -1, I'm not kidding. Anybody who lives in Ottawa, June 3rd, 2nd or 3rd, it's -1. Feels like -1. -1 Celsius. That's below freezing. Okay, that's below freezing. It's been a terrible, terrible, brutal winter. Okay, if you want to test your patience, come live here. If you want to know what I'm talking about, come live here for a year. So it's just, for me, it's an example of human beings living against the way, living against, in resistance to the way, to the harmony of things, going places where you don't belong. And then what happens in the process, unfortunately, is you step on the toes of animals and other sentient beings that actually belong here, that actually are able to be living in such environments without having to wear shit ton of clothes, and they're not actually consciously trying like to pull a Wim Hof, where they're actually consciously trying to warm themselves up. They don't have to, because they belong here. It's their space suit is perfectly made for being here. Okay? Now, all that being said, I still take cold showers, and believe it or not, even after 15 years of grueling Canadian winters, absolutely grueling, I'm not done with the cold, and I'm not done with winters at all. Okay? Because the cold's still a great teacher. Okay? It's an absolutely great teacher. And the problem with being in the cold in a city is you're done with. Like, you just, it's terrible. But if you actually go to live in a mountain or something like that, then, then now we can begin to enjoy the cold. Now we can really begin to get into it. Now we can begin to use it as a way to, it's a great teacher, trust me. I remember one of my mushroom trips, it taught me a lot. One of my mushroom trips, I took a cold shower, and I was there for 30 minutes just taking a cold shower, and I was bowing to the cold shower and thanking the force of the cold for teaching me so many lessons. So, am I done with winters? Am I done with cold? No, not at all. After all this rant, absolutely not. But the way I'd like to do it is go to the Himalayas, since I'm going to be living in the east, because it is, if you really want to test your meditation skills, and that's how if you want to test your meditation skills, go live somewhere cold. But go to nature. Don't be in the middle of a city, because then it's just, you're in prison. It's depressing. You go to nature, live in a mountain or something, and then you meditate, and you start to do all these things, and you learn how to do tumo meditation and start to melt ice around you. So I'm absolutely not done. But as a living, year to year, day to day, it's just not harmonious. You understand? It's not harmonious. But I'd like to go spend a year or two in the Himalayas. I will do that at some point. Go spend it in the Himalayas when I feel like my meditation and my focus and my level of awareness is at such a level that I could actually, take on the cold. Okay, I can actually, I'm able to actually, because the way the Tibetans do it. See, the Tibetans, it's not that Tibetans are big fans of the cold. They just happen to be there, right? They happen to be, living in the mountains, and they happen to be there. But it's not like they're happy freezing, no. They came up with tumo meditation because they want to be warm and nice. Everybody wants to be warm and nice. And the nice thing is, once your skills are so high in meditation and concentration and one-pointedness, is you could do that. You could go live somewhere really, really cold, and you could be living comfortable warmth. But this just shows you that everybody loves warmth. Even Tibetans who live in really cold, climates. They live in the Himalayas, in the mountains. Everybody loves warmth. And so they actually, because they love warmth, because they're human beings who are adapted for warmth and light, because they love it, they've actually came up with a meditation so that they could stay warm. They could stay comfortable. Okay? Now, to bypass that, you could just go be somewhere warm, somewhere where you belong. But then if you want to actually see how you want to test your meditation and focus on one-pointedness, it's not a bad idea to go live in a mountain. Something I plan on doing in the future. I just need a few years of break from 15 years of I could really cry right now, okay? So I just wanted to share these thoughts with you guys. And that's about it. I want to thank all the Patreons for supporting this channel. You guys are awesome and amazing. And check the Patreon, okay? Check the Patreon. Check the posts. If you're not getting notifications or whatever, just I'm going to remind you here. Check the Patreon. See latest posts. What's going on? What's happening? You know? I like I said, I posted my book, The Master Player, there, and I'm still coming up with new stuff. So keep an eye there. If you would like to book a one-on-one consultation, these mosquitoes, nice. I'd much rather deal with mosquitoes. Okay, it just shows you life isn't perfect. I'd much rather deal with mosquitoes though. I'd much rather be annoyed by mosquitoes and bitten by mosquitoes than be frustrated in my house because it's -25 outside and it's been like that for 2 months and I haven't seen the sun for like 13 days. Okay, I'd much rather deal with the mosquitoes. Yeah, so if you'd like to book a one-on-one consultation to talk about anything, you can discuss your asshole and what's going on there, and it's a big problem. You know, we can discuss health, psychedelics, meditation, consciousness, you name it, relationships. If you want to talk about anything, really, just it's in the description. If you would like a video request, you can contact me, and the contact information is in the description. All these things are in the description, okay? So thank you very much to everybody watching, listening, and it's sun gazing time. So until next time, may the force be with you.